Please note that your call may be recorded for monitoring and training purposes. Single point of access, Natasha speaking. How can I help?
Yes, good afternoon, Natasha. I'm calling on behalf of my brother, Mr. Talib Hussain, date of birth 15/9/1960, and I'm trying to get in touch with Christopher Browell, his care coordinator.
Yeah, can I take your name, please?
My name is Mr. Hussain.
Just going to load up his record. Won't be a second.
Okay.
Just going to get in touch with Chris for you now.
Hi, Shazad.
Yes, hello, Mr. Browell. How are you?
I'm okay. You alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. Talib's okay.
Talib?
Talib's okay as well. We're doing well. The purpose. But you were expecting my call, weren't you?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, are you in a position to provide us with any update or any developments since we last spoke?
Unfortunately not, no.
Okay, all right.
No.
Well, what did we discuss last time?
Let me just bring the notes up. You spoke about the safeguarding alert raised by Manium Housing. You said that Talib would like some help applying for a blue badge. I think you need to kind of start that application and I provide some support for that. You asked what the local authority is doing to prevent you from homelessness. You mentioned about the lasting power of attorney for health and well-being. Spoke about the Greenbank GP surgery. So I think that's what I've made notes of anyway.
Okay, all right. So when was that? When can I just ask when did we speak last?
26th of October.
26th of October. And you know these notes. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it was the 25th of October.
25th, sorry, yeah, 25th of October. And so, you know, these notes that you just brought up, are they brought up on a system, on the council system or the care trust system?
It's mental health, CMHT.
Yeah, no, but is it a council system?
No, I think it's a trust system.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Oh, is it called System 1?
Yeah.
All right, so it's System 1, and it's so the only reason I ask is that you're making notes regarding my call to you while I'm representing my brother on a healthcare record, on a healthcare system, System 1, but yet you're a council employee. And
yeah, but I work for the CMHT.
Yeah, I understand. But why is there no record? I mean, the reason I ask is that if, for argument's sake, you're not a social, are you a social worker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And if you were a social worker and somebody was not under the trust, like I'm sure you have other people that are, what system would you be making the notes on? Would it not be a system called Rio?
No, we don't use Rio anymore. No.
So-
We used to use Rio, but it's all System 1 now.
But my question is that if you were a social worker in Bradford Council and there was no healthcare, obviously you were not on the city mental health team, you were just a normal social worker, where would the case notes go?
So there's different types of System 1. So there's an adult social care System 1, and then there's a mental health System 1. So as I work for CMHT, I record my notes in the mental health system.
Yeah, no, I understand this, but I said if you're a normal social worker, does Bradford Council use System 1?
I think they do, yeah, but it's the adult social care system.
Okay, all right.
So yeah.
Okay, all right. So yeah, thanks for clarifying that, because obviously, as you can appreciate, I don't think there's any further involvement from the trust. And the reason I ask is that, as you know, in the past I've made subject access requests for these data recordings and stuff, because obviously it's unfair that you're recording us and I don't have access to it. But then obviously, if it's in the trust system, which it shouldn't be, because it should be like I said. But I'm just going off point here. The reality is that you're still making notes on the trust system when he's been discharged. But okay, moving on from this, can I just ask, since the 25th of October, what have you done?
I had a look at the blue badge and the application for that, and it seems apparent that the person themselves needs to apply for that, and then supporting evidence can be provided. But it wouldn't be me who would make that application. It would be Talib. It's supported by you.
Okay, so what else have you done?
What else have I done? As I said, I haven't spoke to Talib. So, as I've said before, you're not the patient who I have a responsibility to. So I'm not here to just follow your instructions, Shazad. I'll make a note of what you're requesting.
Okay.
But I'm not here to just do what you tell me to do.
And what did I tell you to do?
You asked about what's the situation regarding lasting power of attorney for health and well-being, regarding Talib. You asked about, you said that Talib's still registered with Greenbank Surgery. You wanted to make a safeguarding alert about Greenbank Surgery not having medical records.
Okay, all right. So what I've asked you to do is not the fact that I'm the patient. I raised a safeguarding alert on the 25th of October regarding serious concerns. I'm ringing you up today to find out what have you done subsequently, and what you're saying to me is that you're not here to take my instructions.
No, I'm not. I've told you before that the things that you request, when there's an MDT meeting, then I can bring that to an MDT meeting. Other than that, then it's not something that I can action without.
Okay.
And it hasn't been an MDT meeting.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted to ask. I spoke to you on the 25th. I went to several points. One of the things that you're quite keen to tell me is regarding the blue badge application. All right. Can I ask, have you ever done a blue badge application before?
I might have done maybe a year or two ago. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm more familiar with the travel pass applications rather than the blue badge.
Okay, because it was you that was saying to me that you're going to come down and deliver the blue badge application form. All right?
Yeah, I did, and then when I researched it, I found that there isn't an application form as such.
Yes, it's all done online, isn't it? It's all done online, isn't it?
You apply online.
Yeah, that's right. And so the reason I say these is that because this is the very same conversation I had with your predecessors, Balja and Fungi, regarding the blue badge. I said, look, there's all these things that need to be resolved. One of the things that needs to be resolved now that is his discharges regarding his mental capacity assessment. We need to deal with his blue badge. We need to deal with his housing tenancy and everything like this. So these are the things that I dealt with your predecessor. Now, the previous time the blue badge was made, I made the application myself on behalf of my brother. Now, in this conversation, you telling me that regarding the blue badge, so let's just deal with the blue badge situation. You previous told me that you're going to come down, you're going to make with the application form, you've done some research, you found out actually there is no application form. It has to be instigated by Talib. Now, Talib can't, as you can appreciate, Talib can't fill in the application form, or he can't do anything regarding making an application, can he?
met him, Shazad.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I've met him once.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, you have met him. That's actually false, isn't it? You have met him, haven't you?
Yeah, I've met him once.
Yeah.
Right,
So it's not true that you've never met him, and so you have met him.
No, I corrected myself, didn't I?
No, I corrected you.
I think I beat you to it. I corrected myself.
No, you didn't. You said I've never met him, and I said that's not correct. You've met him once. You've met him before, and you said yes, I actually have. So I flagged you up on that. Yeah. So moving on from this, I'm concerned regarding the purpose of these conversations. I'm told one thing. I'm told that look, you're here to act in Talib's best interest. Then all of a sudden you're telling me, well, I'm not here to speak to you. You're not the patient. Yet the patient and the representative of the patient has done everything in his capacity to, make me represent him. And it seems that, the trust, the council don't want me to represent him or act in his best interest. And it seems the fact that the reality is that the reason for these conversations, which are, just checking up on Talib, is to ensure that I haven't done anything untowards him or he's still alive. Because ultimately the situation...
I'm not checking up on him. You're calling me today, aren't you?
Yeah, I know, that's true, because we pre-arranged this, but in the past you said I want to be in touch with you. What kind of arrangements that we have is that you would ideally like to just ring me up and just check up on Talib, see how he's doing after every 2 weeks, wouldn't you?
As I said, I've only met Talib once, so from my side and with regards to Talib's welfare, I'm just going off what you say that he's okay.
No,
so,
I understand. I understand.
I'm not really getting much progress from my side, am I? Because I'm unable to check if Talib's okay. I'm just going off what you say.
But we've had this conversation.
And then get given a load of tasks by you.
But they're not a load of tasks. Look, Mr. Browell. You're an intelligent person. The circumstances are today that my brother has no access to his benefit money. He's not had access to his benefit money for the last couple of years. Most definitive. Well, he's not had direct access to his benefit money since you, the trust, and since you, Bradford Council, put me into prison in 2016. So from January 2016, he's not had unfettered access to his benefit money. That's the reality, isn't it? And also, in addition to this, you, the local authority, have worked with my brother Adalat to remove my appointeeship and give it to him. And then subsequently utilize my brother Adalat in order to facilitate what your objectives, which are to remove me out of my brother Talib's life, remove me out of my mother's life, and trying to, take control of the situation. So that is the reality, that my brother today is in a very precarious situation. I am protecting and safeguarding him. You've come down to the property after a safeguarding alert has been made. A safeguarding alert has been made by Manningham Housing as a direct result of Manningham Housing colluding and conspiring with Bradford Council, saying, look, what we've done now is we've bought off the District Judge Beckley in court of protection. We've got a court order saying that we're now in charge of his finances. But that being in charge of his finances does not make you in charge of his health and welfare. Now what needs to happen is a pretext needs to be made in order for you to instigate new proceedings, welfare proceedings. So you need to raise a concern. So what needs to happen is that somebody needs to come down to see Talib, any third party, alright, and then a false flag safeguarding alert is going to be raised, or he's in such poor conditions, or he's he's been dilapidated, so basically just a pretext. So then court protection proceedings can commence, so you can take charge of my brother Talib, and this is the same situation that you did it with my mother. You made a pretext, or there was a lock on the door, or she's being held against her will, and we're going to now instigate court proceedings. Now, what's happened is that recently, when you've come down on I think the 13th or 14th of October, you've told me the fact that it was as a result of gas safety inspectors coming to the house and realizing that the property was internally in a property dilapidated state, which then necessitated Manningham Housing raising a safeguarding alert. I explained to you that they didn't even come into the house, so that was a false flag. So this is what's happened, is that that's what happened in October. Previously, the local authority are working in collaboration with my niece Shagufta, who has been utilized by them in the past to send me to prison. So she came down to visit us, and I explained to you that, look, she didn't get to see my brother on the on the 11th of September when she had come down under instructions from Bradford Council. But she did get to see my brother, and we went for a nice meal together. And you know, she met my brother Talib, and I asked you to ring her up. Considering that there's a back channel of communication between Bradford Council and my siblings and my nieces and nephews, so that was an option open to you. So it's not the case that I'm giving you, I'm not instructing you to get in touch with Shagufta. I'm trying to help you and facilitate the fact that you're saying that we can only go on what you're saying. All right, and what I'm saying is what I'm relaying about my brother Talib, saying the fact that he does not want to see you, and he has a right not to see you because you, the Bradford Council, have kidnapped him from our home, sectioned him under the Mental Health Act. All right, then done all sorts of nefarious things with our mother, murdered our mother, and you're not acting openly and transparently. So when I say to you, oh look, Shagufta seen my brother, there's an option for you to go and speak to Shagufta. I'm not giving you instructions. I'm just saying that look. Other people have seen my brother, haven't they? Just because you haven't seen them. Yeah. And so in addition to this, I've also said, like, my neighbor sees my brother all the time. All right. The local authority have a very close relationship with my neighbor. All right. There's been, I have evidence of them colluding and conspiring with my neighbor to find out and get information from me. I then once again said, look, why don't you use your unofficial channels once again? Go speak to my neighbor. He's seen my brother. All right. But it seems the fact that what's happening here is that I'm not stupid. You've had many conversations with me, numerous conversations, and you know I'm not a fool. I'm not an idiot, and I'm not gonna, I'm not somebody to have the wool pulled over my eyes. I know exactly what's going on here. The local authority have truly royally effed up. They were paying my brother Talib for 5 years untaxed public money. They didn't audit it. They were begging me to help them audit it. And I'm saying, under what I have no formal relationship with Bradford Council. Mark Trewin, who's a very senior person now, all right, was involved in this abysmal failure on the council that they were paying direct payments, substantial sums of money to the tune of maybe over £100,000 that were not being audited. When I looked to whistleblow on that, everybody turned upon me, and everybody, worked together in order to criminally victimize me after murdering my brother Nazim. So there's a whole history here. So I'm sorry, but I'm not the one that's like dictating things to you. There is an element of malevolence orchestrated by Bradford Council in collaboration with its partners, particularly the trust. All right, and all I'm trying to do is trying to get to the bottom of this. My mother's been murdered, my brother's been murdered, and you're saying that, oh no, we want access to my brother Talib. So when I said to you, look, if there's a safeguarding alert, you have a right to be satisfied. My brother, and I was saying that maybe I can speak to my brother and we can make arrangements, but it seems that, there are other options, avenues available. The neighbors get to see my brother, my niece has seen my brother, all right, I can go ask Adalat, and we can go meet Adalat somewhere, all right, they all work for you, the council. So the question I wanted to ask is that, did following the safeguarding alert and our previous conversations, have you made any attempts to verify that somebody else has seen Talib?
I haven't, no.
No, okay. And why have you not done that?
I'm not sure if I've got a number for Shagufta, so...
But you have a number for Adalat, don't you?
I think that there is one on the system, yeah.
Okay, because obviously, that letter that I sent, that email that I sent to the courts where I included yourself, there was a safeguarding meeting and notes which I presented to you, where obviously there's a back channel, like the trust works with Bradford, the trust and Bradford Council work with my brother Adalat, hence why there was that communication, wasn't there? Yeah?
Communication, sorry. Oh, okay, yeah, in the past, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
in the context, the fact that my brother was leaving a safeguarding alert that he's given us a bank card, all right, when my brother Talib had gone down to get his money, and then, told you people that, Shahzad's taken all the money, he must have been scamming in the system, and so therefore there was a safeguarding alert raised in February 2019. The details I forwarded to you. So you have access to Adalat. Bradford Council clearly has access to Shagufta because they instructed her to come down recently. All right, maybe not the social workers for Talib, but the social workers for my mum. obviously not. You have full details regarding my niece Shagufta, and if you were to inquire, you would get that information. But is it not the case the fact that you didn't make inquiries with these people because you're satisfied that my brother's safe?
I think it's you know, as I said, it's obviously very difficult to confirm that your brother's safe. So yeah, I'm going on your word, which
No. Just hold on a second. I've asked you the question that look, you had concerns. We were looking to make arrangements that maybe you could come and see my brother Talib. But I did say that look, there's other people that you could have seen him. So it's not just my word, is it? And you've chosen not to go to those other people. And I've asked why did you not go to those other people, which I told you about. All right, and then you said I don't. You know, you're not giving me an explanation.
I think at the time, not since I last spoke with you, but at the time I think I tried to contact Adala on the telephone numbers that I've got. There was a telephone number that was unavailable. There was a landline number, and that rang out. No one answered it. So
okay, so
other than that,
okay.
Regarding Shagufta's number, I don't know if I've got that. I could have tried to speak with perhaps you know, like the social workers who worked with your mum. I haven't done.
Yep.
If I had have done, you'd have probably said that it was some kind of
no.
You know, kind of plan against you or something
but,
like that.
But
so
no.
I do feel like that whatever I do,
No. I mean, look. Well. All right, look at it from my perspective. Look at it for a moment from my perspective. All right. I've gone to jail for what? For defrauding my brother Talib and my mother and my dead father and my dead brother. All right. So I've gone to jail for that. How could I go to jail? All right. And so they're the victims of my criminality. All right. And I was prosecuted not by the police, not by the Crown Prosecution Service, but by Bradford Council in collaboration with Bradford District Care Trust. So I've gone to jail for that. All right. I've had all my money taken away from me. Over £500,000 of a trust fund, cash that was there to assist my brother Talib, to assist my mother. That money, the source of that money was their benefit money and their payments. All right. That's all been taken away from me. You've taken away all our property as well. I had 4 houses. All right, all of them, you're saying that's all fraudulent now. You, the Bradford Council, are doing this. All right, so you sent me to prison. I've come out of prison. All right, and I'm caring for my mother and brother, the victims of my criminality. All right, subsequently, the victims of my criminality, my mother and my brother have signed over a lasting power of attorney to me, having full mental capacity to do so. Now, this clearly undermines your criminal conviction, which is costing the public purse over £1 million. All right, so then what's happened is that subsequently, the council, in collaboration with numerous people, including my siblings, including my family, you know, my relatives, have colluded and conspired and got me kicked out of the house, making both me and my brother homeless. All right, we didn't get to see our mother for the last year of her life, and then she was molested and murdered by you, the council. All right. And then now we're in this situation where after she's been murdered, all right, they're now in the process of making us homeless once again. None of this can happen if there's no malevolence, if there's no collusion, and there's no conspiratorialness. Now you're saying to me, Mr. Hussain, you're acting all paranoid. We're just trying to do our job here, and you know, like I just feel I can't do anything because you keep on making these allegations. But you, as a sensible person, you must ask a simple question of like, that doesn't make any sense. That I'm today looking after my brother, you're not paying me any money, all right? And you know, these things are simply idiotic, asinine, all right? And you know they don't make any sense. How can I go to prison for effectively being a carer? How can I go to prison for defrauding my own family members, all right, money that you, the council, then got? So you sent me to prison, got all the money, all right, and now you're financially benefiting, and you still claim that I'm the one it's all my fault. It's all I'm doing this because what? And what you try to do then is you're trying to say that I've got mental health problems, all right, that I lack litigation capacity. So, this isn't, for you to say that I've asked you to do something. Then you're saying, oh, if I do it, you're going to say I'm conspirator. Obviously, there's a conspiracy going on. And the conspiracy is evidently the fact that you in adult social care are systemically failing. All right? But now, can I ask, is there anybody else listening into our conversation?
No.
Okay, because there's something keeps on happening. You keep on putting me off on and off from a loudspeaker, don't you?
No, it's been on loudspeaker the whole time.
Okay, and there's nobody else listening in?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. It's your only your word I have to go on, and I don't care who else listens in. The bottom line is this: that I spoke to you last time. I raised several points. I've asked what have you done, what has happened since. That's hence my call today. And you're saying, well, really nothing. I looked into the blue badge and realised that I don't have to actually do anything. You have to instigate the application process, and then I can assist you. And how exactly are you going to assist us with the application process? Because obviously I can't make an application, because one of the things they say is that I need to provide evidence that is on disability living allowance. I don't even know I have no evidence that is on disability living allowance, because you the council have taken control of that. So you're really leaving us in a situation, when we can't really do anything. And what's frustrating is that, Mr. Browell, this is exactly the situation I find myself in 2019 when my brother's been discharged into my care. It's all talk, isn't it? Yes, we're going to do something, and it's all fancy talk. Because the bottom line is, I was saying and screaming out these things then. Look, we need to do his mental capacity assessment. Look, we need to deal with his housing situation. Look, we need to deal with the blue badge. And look, we need to deal with his finances. You guys did nothing, all right? And so what I did was, me and my brother signed over lasting power of attorney to me, so we can progress and get out of this cesspit that you've put us into. And as a consequence, all right, you've then colluded with the Office of the Public Guardian to have my lasting power of attorney removed. But you've removed the health and welfare as well, all right, because you can't remove one without the other. And as a result, my brother has no means to have access to any healthcare now. And he's a vulnerable adult that requires 24-hour care, 7 days of care in my care week, doubly incontinent. And you're saying, we want to see Talib. All right? And that's very frustrating, because I wanted to see my mother in the last year of her life. And you the council wouldn't let me see my own mother. What did I abuse her? Did I hate her? What did I do? I didn't do nothing. My brother Talib didn't get to see his own mother. I asked you what provisions you made in order to facilitate Talib to see his mother. You didn't do nothing. You basically said, we don't want you to involve. All right, let Talib make his own arrangements. A person who's, such a vulnerable person who's doubly incontinent, or who can't even walk, who can't even speak English. You basically don't want me to care for my brother or my mother, because I charge £1 million a week, and you're doing everything in your powers in order to ensure that I'm not their carer. And yet, what they want is they want me, their brother, their son, to care for him. And it's quite clearly, evidently proven now that look what's happened to our mother. All right. Now this is the only channel I have to communicate with our oppressor, with the tyrant, the local authority. They won't speak to me via any other channel, will they? So if they want something, if the council wants something, they utilize you in order to achieve that objective. All right, which obviously you're going to now be utilized in order to instigate proceedings regarding his health and welfare, because quite clearly those are still outstanding. All you need now is a pretext. You need a pretext in order to, instigate proceedings. So you can say, we're going to look after Talib now. And that's what I feel. So, with regards to the blue badge, nothing's going to happen about that, because we're basically in a catch-22 situation. With regards to his medical health care, his GP practice in Oldham, nothing can happen about that. We're in a catch-22 situation there as well. It's not the fact that you seem to twist things around. You seem to say to me, Mr. Hussain, I'm buggered if I do, and I'm buggered if I don't. That's the situation you've created for me. That's what you're saying to me. That every time I try to do something, you criticize me, so I'm buggered if I do, and I'm buggered if I don't. So you're not doing anything. But the reality is that that's the situation you've created for me and my brother. We're buggered if we do, and buggered if we don't. That's correct, isn't it? Because what can we do now regarding the blue badge? Nothing. What can we do regarding his finances? Nothing. All right. What can we do regarding his healthcare record, access to healthcare? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're stuck. We're buggered, and you've buggered us. And then you're saying the fact that I feel that you're being unreasonable. I don't think I'm being unreasonable. I'm being very, very reasonable. So I rang up. I'm being very patient here. We're going to be made homeless. Do you understand that the local authority are orchestrating events that they've done in the past, and those orchestrating of those events has resulted in my brother Nazim's murder, which the council did it in 2014, And then pathetically, they were trying to frame me for my own brother's murder, my brother Nazim's murder in 2014. That all failed. Then they subsequently worked and colluded and conspired with the judges, bought off the judiciary, and sent me to prison for a crime that I could not have committed. When my family members have given me the money, we're now in a situation where we're buggered. And what you want to do is you want to come every 2 weeks to find out how buggered we are, in order to find out when exactly can we intervene in order to, take charge of the situation, because sooner or later he's going to suffer from carer burnout. And when he suffers from carer burnout, we come over as the heroes and the protectors, and we take charge of the situation. And we're never ever gonna, never ever gonna let you see your brother like we never let you see your mother again. And we can do whatever we like. And that's the present situation. So I don't understand why you're saying to me that by contacting Shagufta, I would say something else.
Yeah, I can try and contact Shagufta. I'm not sure if we've got an up-to-date phone number. There is a phone number there. I could try and call today.
But the reality is that I'm asking you now, do you still have concerns regarding my brother's health and welfare?
So as I said, the safeguarding alert was closed, and I think I'm doing what I can within reason to try and check on his welfare. I've attended the property. I've spoken with you. I've asked if I could speak with Talib. You've said that I could speak with Shagufta or the neighbour. I don't know, contact details for the neighbour. So yeah, it's quite reasonable. I can try and contact Shagufta and see if she's seeing Talib. Other than that, I'm at a bit of a loss, really.
But the reality is that, the reality is that, look, I've explained to you that there's a malicious alert. There was a malicious, all right. The first thing you need to establish is that, was it a malicious alert? No.
Not really. The main thing is to establish is that as there's been no contact with Talib, that he's still okay, really. Just that he's...
Look, this is very frustrating because my brother is I'm caring for him 24 hours a day, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm providing him with he's doubly incontinent. I provide him with 24-hour care. Now, I've explained to you, have I not, and I'm going to reiterate myself if I haven't explained this to you, have I not explained to you why I would be reluctant for you to see Talib?
Yes, you have.
Yeah. And what was that reason?
Remind me, Shazad.
All right, I'll remind you.
Part of it is that you wouldn't want me to assess his capacity.
No, that's not just the case, all right? It's because he becomes very highly distressed meeting people like yourself, all right, that have murdered his mother, all right, professionals that have an ulterior agenda, that don't speak his language, that are, that he feels very threatened by. As a consequence, he becomes very agitated, and as a consequence, he becomes highly constipated. All right, which then obviously because of his constipation, all right, he doesn't open his bowel for several weeks, and then when he does, it's like overflow and goes everywhere, and that causes me problems. All right, and because he's quite clearly expressed that he doesn't want to meet any of these people because you're not acting in his best interest. When he's asked you the simple question, how much money of mine have you got? You said, I'm sorry, we can't answer that. All right, so that's clearly malevolent. All right, my brother is fully cognizant of what's going on. He's very distressed, alarmed that nobody's acting in his best interest, and I'm the only person that is acting in his best interest. I'm caring for him now, for a number of years. He's never had an issue with me. I've even gone to his GP, and just to remind your records, yeah, just because you don't have I've gone to his GP and I've said I'm gonna kill my brother Nazim. I've said that to his GP. Whilst he was in hospital, I've threatened to murder him, and you the council and health authority have then forcibly put him into my care. All right, and that happened in 2014. all right, when Nadia Khan and Sanjeev Singh and Dr. Shaukat Ali were all there, fully aware that I had made threats to murder him, all right, and you said, we don't care, he has capacity, we're going to put him back into your care, expecting me to murder him. When I then said I've gone and taken a kitchen knife and slit his throat and slit my mother's throat and they're lying in the kitchen floor, all right, you then told the police, had me arrested, all right, and realized that I was doing what you people do, was lying. My family members were perfectly fine. So those were safeguarding issues then. There were, regarding his capacity, you, the council, have concluded that he has capacity to be put into my care. You, the council, have then gone away and called the police upon me in February 2019, tried to have me arrested. Vicina Brown has gone to see my brother in Oldham. You assessed his capacity, he has capacity. You now are desperate, so desperate, that you're murdering people, you're buying off the judges in order to ensure that your criminal conviction doesn't fall apart. Because your criminal conviction is simply unsustainable given the facts of the situation that at the present stands. So you're the one that are persecuting me. You, Mr. Browell, are acting as an agent of our oppressors. And I've explained this to you in the past that this is what's happening here. Now you're saying to me, well, you're taking this very lackadaisical approach. Well, I could do this. There's no serious danger to my brother's life, is there? Because if I was going to hurt or harm my brother, I would have done it in 2014 when I had threatened to murder him. I would have done it when I wrote to Mr. Mark Truin and told him I've taken a kitchen knife and slit his throat. All right, you didn't do nothing then. All right, you just called the police and they said, oh yeah, nothing's happened here, because ultimately they're saving money, aren't you? You're saving money at my expense. So let me give you reassurances now. All right, nothing's going to happen to my brother Talib. All right, I am charging £1 million a week, as I've explained, and I'm trying to provide him with the best care that I can. What you, the local authority, want to do is you want to take him out of my care like you did with our mother. You want to use the money that you've been saving up, all right, in order to pay one of your agency workers to provide him with care, which is not to meet his needs, but simply to show on paper that you're doing your job. And that obviously is something that I'm fighting against. Now, when you say to me that I am being obstructive or, there's all these things, I have clear evidence of Vicina Brown lying about me when they try to remove me as nearest relative, saying I'm not giving my brother any medication. Am I giving him any medication now? All right? What as a result? He's got no access to a GP anymore. All right? This is all something that you guys have done. And then you've tried to give my brother, and I've told my brother Talib this as well, you've tried to give him diabetes. All right, you try to say that, oh, he's got diabetes. He hasn't got diabetes. And then, so you're acting with clear, malevolence, and now with disregard, saying, oh, no, it's got nothing to do with us. We're just doing our job. This is a very serious matter. I'm trying to help and facilitate you. I've made this appointment. You don't obviously want to speak to us, and hence why in August you said, oh yeah, I'm not bothered. We don't need to speak to you if you don't want to. It's up to you. And then you come down because of a safeguarding alert. So I've asked you the simple question. I said, do you have any concerns regarding his health and welfare right now? And he said I could do this and do that. Of course, the answer to that question, of course you have concerns regarding his health and welfare. Of course you do. And it's not to do with this malicious, malevolent safeguarding alert raised by Manningham Housing, which I've caught him out on. It's to do with the fact that I told you on the 25th of October, I raised a safeguarding alert. Yes, I said that I speak to his GP practice, they say we don't even know what's happened to his medical records. So I raised a safeguarding alert, and hence why I'm asking you what has happened since then, and you're telling me nothing. So why is it that...
I don't see how that's a safeguarding alert, really.
Pardon?
I don't see how that's a safeguarding alert.
I'll tell you why it's a safeguarding alert, because I have reported to you as a safeguarding alert. Are you in charge of the safeguarding team?
No.
All right, no, you're not, are you? So there's a separate department, a safeguarding board, all right, that deals with the safeguarding issues. So I've reported. So basically, what's happened here is that Manningham Housing have made a malicious allegation by buying off the judges, all right, in order to get an injunction against me and my brother in order to enter the property with the clear instructions to the gas safety inspectors to raise a false flag. They've come in. I clearly saw what's happening. I told them, no, turn around, get out. All right, I've already done a gas safety check with my own costs, and so do one. They then, the very next day, the gas safety inspectors, as per what they were instructed to do, have raised a false flag to Manningham, who then contacted you. So a false flag safeguarding alert was raised by Manningham through the collusion of the Her Majesty's courts and tribunals, through the collusion of the judiciary, through the collusion of Manningham Housing Association, solicitors and everybody else in order to facilitate that safeguarding. What was supposed to happen was that after my niece Shagufta had come in September and was not in a position to raise that safeguarding, you need somebody desperately to raise a safeguarding alert, so you can then come and take charge of the situation. So Shagufta's visit on the 11th of September failed. The 13th of October, no, the 12th of October injunction order to raise a false flag has now failed, and now you're desperately looking to find another way in order to raise a false flag. All right, but the concern I have is that if Manningham Housing have raised a false flag, you raised a safeguarding alert, I've equally raised a safeguarding alert regarding somebody destroying his medical records, and you're saying to me, I'm disregarding that. So who's acting malevolently now? Who's acting with contempt now? I'm telling you, there's a vulnerable adult. I'm his carer. I live here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All right. We're having issues with his GP practice. The GP practice have told me that his medical records are missing. All right. So I am the one that's here. So Manningham Housing, all right, who have not met my brother, who have no involvement in his care, they can raise a safeguarding alert. And you're going to take that seriously. My niece, who has no involvement in our family other than taking instructions from you, Bradford Council, in order to come and raise a safeguard. Not even met my brother for a long time. She can come in and raise a safeguarding alert, and you're going to take that seriously. My neighbours, maybe with malice or malicious, can make a false flag safeguarding alert, and you're going to take that seriously. Yet here I am saying, look, there's something seriously going wrong here with regard to his health and welfare. There's a safeguarding alert that needs to be taken seriously. Okay? Here's the medical records have gone missing, and you're saying, I don't see that as a safeguarding issue. You don't see it as a safeguarding issue because who are you gonna target? Who's gonna be the victim of your safeguarding aggression? Because ultimately, all these other false flags make me the victim, make me the victimizer, and my brother the victim. But the reality is that me and my brother are the victims of the state, your agencies. So I raise a safeguarding alert. Your answer is that I don't even consider it a safeguarding alert. But who's giving you that authority?
Greenbank surgery, so that would be Oldham who you made the safeguarding alert to, wouldn't be Bradford. It's an Oldham GP.
Okay, well, with respect, I made a safeguarding alert to you, didn't I?
You said that Alan's medical records prior to 2019 are not with Greenbank GP surgery. So I don't know, do the GP surgeries send the history of all the medical records? I'm not completely sure. So
the question, Mr. Browell, is this, right? Rather than going into the details, did I not raise a safeguarding alert on the 25th of October to you?
You wanted to make a safeguarding alert about Greenbank GP.
No, sir. Look, it's a simple question. It's a simple yes/no question. Did I make a safeguarding alert to you on the 25th
No,
of...
because you wouldn't be making it to me.
Did I make... No.
No, you wouldn't be making it to the right.
Okay. All right.
The Oldham that you would... If you wish to make a safeguarding alert, you need to speak with Oldham about it.
Okay, no. But the question I asked you is, did I attempt to make a safeguarding alert to you on the 25th of October?
You wanted to make a safeguarding alert?
Did I attempt to make a safeguarding alert to you on the 25th of October?
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you made a safeguarding alert.
Okay, all right.
As I said, it's
Okay.
not really to do with Bradford.
Just hold on a second.
I don't see how that's a safeguarding issue because it's to do with medical records.
Okay, and what's medical records? Is safeguarding only where there's a risk of financial abuse? Is safeguarding only where there's a risk of physical abuse?
It's out of my jurisdiction.
No, I asked you the question. No, look, I asked you the question. Look, I'm going to ask... Look, did I attempt to raise a safeguarding alert with you on the 25th of October? Did I attempt to do that?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
did you advise me on the 25th of October that it's not your jurisdiction and that I need to raise it with Oldham? No, you didn't.
I just made a note.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay. And then subsequently, after having taken because you've accepted that as a safeguarding because you didn't advise me then, did you? And then subsequently, I'm asking you today, 2 weeks later, what have you done about it? And you're saying now, who told you that? So you've taken it on board. So I did raise a safeguarding alert on the 25th of October. You accepted it because you didn't advise me alternatively. You've taken a note of it. But then subsequently, after having taken a note of it, what did you do with that safeguarding alert that I raised with you? Did you have a word with somebody?
I haven't followed it up because I might not have said at the time, but I didn't consider that to be a valid safeguarding alert.
But you didn't make me aware of it, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Right,
So I raised a safeguarding alert. I think it is a safeguarding issue, and the reason it is a safeguarding issue is because, as you can appreciate, when we started this conversation, I asked you specifically. I said, when you said I'm going to refer to the notes, what system are you using? And if you recall back to our conversation at the start today, you said that it was system 1. So obviously, when I asked you simple questions regarding, Mr. Browell, when did we speak last? Oh, Mr. Browell, what were the things that we discussed? You went away onto your computer system and you pulled up a record. And because you pulled up a record, you could refamiliarize yourself with all that information, couldn't you? All right? Because you have a system in place. Now, in order for me to speak to you, you've got that information in front of you in your system 1 record regarding my brother Talib, regarding our previous conversation. 2 weeks later, Mr. Browell, I understand that you're a very busy person. You deal with maybe 100 other people. You're going to forget all this information. So there's information in front of you that you made notes of. So you were able to re-articulate those notes back to me. So you're in a position, you're well informed in order to make, in a position to deal with the call or deal with my inquiries, because you have information in front of you. Now, when I go to my GP, the same thing happens. They need his medical records. And in order for them to make a diagnosis, in order for them to do their job effectively, they need access. Do you accept that if they're going blind, if they don't know what his medical history is, then they could, that's endangering my brother's life, no?
So, even though I didn't say this on the 25th of October, you need to make a complaint to the GP surgery. They would have a complaint system.
No. Look, you see, you're being evasive. I'm saying to you, I just went on this tirade about explaining to you that the importance. You're saying that I don't see how his medical records are a concern or an issue. And I said, like, in order for the GP to properly assess my brother, he needs to have all his information, doesn't he?
I can understand why you'd say that.
Yeah, you need to have his medical history because my brother suffers. And the reason is that my brother is allergic to certain medication. He's allergic to diclofenac. All right. We discovered that he's allergic to diclofenac, all right, many years ago. So that's in his medical records. Now, do you understand that diclofenac, all right, is a medication that I think is a constipation medication or inflammatory medication that he still suffers from. So potentially his GP can once again prescribe him diclofenac, which is going to cause him, it's going to endanger him. So can you understand that the GPs do need access to his medical records? All right, and you're.
When did Talib move to Oldham? Because maybe they didn't want to share any medical records prior to when he became a patient at that surgery.
Look, Mr. Browell, all right, since you've asked the question, this is the same scenario, and you know why? This is the same deja vu scenario with the same practice, and I've made them aware of this at Greenbank, that when my mother moved from Peel Park Surgery in Bradford to Greenbank Medical Practice in Oldham, her medical records went missing, all right? And I was obviously concerned and alarmed and distressed about this. And so the concerns were escalated to Greenbank. Why has her medical records gone missing? All right, something malevolent happened because at Peel Park Surgery, we recently registered her in January of 2018. All right, they were colluding with the council. The council social workers then told the Peel Park Surgery to deliver my mother's medication to my sister's house in Bradford, to Shider's house, 38 Gwyn Avenue. All right, they had no right to instruct the pharmacy to do that. So there was some sort of malevolence going on there in regards to my mother's medical records in 2018. been. Then when we moved to Greenbank, all right, they were saying, oh, there's two different systems because they use a system called EMIS and Bradford used a system called System 1, and so that's why the delay was. But they're irrespective. There's physical records and electronic records. I never got to the bottom of that. I went and reported the matter to the police. They said it's got nothing to do with us. It's an NHS issue. Go raise a complaint with the NHS. Ultimately, something fraudulent happened with my mother's medical records. Subsequently, she was kidnapped and murdered by you, the council. All right. Now it's the same scenario once again. My brother was in had a practice here in Bradford. All right. We made access. I made subject access requests for his medical records to the practice in the Farrow Medical Centre in Bradford. My brother signed a letter and they refused to release his medical records to us. He then moved to Oldham. All right, at Sun Valley, which you're familiar with, which you've been liaising with at Sun Valley. So there was a records there at Sun Valley that. And then subsequently, the Sun Valley, through your collusion, the council started making false allegations regarding I was being aggressive to staff members when I wasn't, and they kicked my brother out, and then he's gone to Greenbank. I've had it confirmed from Greenbank that my brother was moved to their practice on the 8th of December 2021. Okay, so, and then when I've subsequently made a subject access request for his medical records in March, they've told me that, oh, we can only give you this information because all the previous information we don't have. And so this concern of mine has been ongoing since March. This is a concern that I've consistently raised with Greenbank Medical Practice. And the reality is that what I believe is happening here is that the person that's hounding us and victimizing me and my brother and my family is Mr. Mark Trewin, a very senior person in adult social care. Mr. Mark Trewin now also works with the NHS at a very high level position, and I believe that he is orchestrating aspects that are resulting in my brother's and my mother's medical records being destroyed. Now, obviously, that is a very serious issue and a very, that's what I believe is happening. Obviously, I can't prove that, but that ultimately this is what's happening. Now, as a consequence, the bottom line still remains that the bottom line still remains that my brother's medical records are gone missing. And if it isn't Mark Trewin, because Mark Trewin is the only person that has the greatest incentive to persecute us, because Mark Trewin was in charge of my brother Talib's direct payment finances, which were not being audited for 5 years from 2006 onwards. So quite clearly, I assume that it's him that's doing it, or if not, somebody else more senior. But his medical records, I'm screening them out to you as his 24-hour carer, that I cannot register him with another practice, all right, until such time as his medical records have been located. Because if I locate him to another practice in Bradford, all right, which you've asked me to do, I can't do that because these medical records are not going to come with him, are they? So you understand? On the one hand, you the council and you the authorities are putting us in a buggered situation. All right, he's been at Greenbank practice. He's been at Greenbank practice since the 8th of December 2021. Okay, his medical records are still not with that practice. Where have they gone? All right. And I'm raising this as a safeguarding alert to you here in Bradford, because you, the social workers in Bradford, have been liaising with the GP practices in Oldham through a malevolent agenda, asking them to, make all these allegations against me. So, it's you personally, Mr. Browell, have spoken to Sun Valley, haven't you?
Yeah, several months ago, yeah.
No, it won't be several months ago. Why was it several months ago? I said you... Go on. Go on.
It was several months ago when Talib was and yourself were living in Oldham.
So that was not several months ago, was it?
Well, I think it was, wasn't it?
Mr. Browell, I think you need... we're now in November 2022. You're saying several months ago. All right?
Yeah.
So when did you speak to Sun Valley?
I don't know exactly, but you asked me a question and I said yes, I have spoken with them. Yeah.
Yeah, you've spoken to. Just to be clear, are you talking about Greenbank or Sun Valley?
I think Sun Valley. I think.
Yeah. So
they're in Oldham as well, yeah.
Yeah, so you spoke to Sun Valley, and as I explained to you, he came to the Green Bank on the 8th of December 2021. So you spoke to Sun Valley prior to that. And what was the reason that you were liaising with Sun Valley regarding Talib?
I believe, again, it's because concerns about his welfare.
Okay, all right. So, and what were the concerns?
I don't know exactly. They were just general concerns because we haven't seen him.
Yeah. So, but why would that not be a safeguarding issue for Oldham Council? Because he was living in Oldham, he had a GP in Oldham, all right? If you had concerns, or if the GP had concerns, why was that not raised to Adult Safeguarding Board in Oldham?
That would be up to Oldham to make that decision.
No, but this is the thing, you see, when I'm telling you that his medical records have gone missing, your advice to me is that, and I'm raising that as a safeguarding alert, your advice to me is that, oh no, that's an Oldham issue, it's got nothing to do with us. But however, when my brother was living in Oldham, had a GP in Oldham, and obviously the GP had seen my brother, the council, got in touch with Sun Valley and raised a safeguarding alert, or had concerns. Why was those concerns not investigated by the safeguarding board in Oldham?
They would have to, that would be up to them.
No, but why did you? No, it's not up to them. It's up to you. You got in touch with Sun Valley. Why did you get in touch?
I don't know if it was me who got in touch with Sun Valley, but I spoke to someone from Sun Valley. Yeah.
Because if it wasn't you, I think it was at that stage, around about in 2021, November, October, that Baljet Nota had withdrawn and you had come on board. So it's around about this time. But when you came on board, can I just ask, when did you come onto the case of Talib? You should know that.
30th of November 2021.
Okay, all right. So the 30th of November 2021, you must have contacted Sun Valley after you had come on board, yes?
Yeah.
So let me get this right. Are you sure it was 30th of November?
I might have been involved before then, but that's when I was allocated.
I see. Okay, all right. So can I ask, when were you first assigned to my brother? Not allocated, but were working alongside Bali?
I think I tried to visit Talib in Oldham.
Yes, when you had come down with your colleague in the car and was waiting outside.
Yeah, that was in October.
Yeah, what date in October?
No, I'm not here to just
I can't look.
Read off.
It's okay. It's okay. You don't need to tell me, but it's just courtesy, because obviously I know when you came down. I just don't have the records in front of me like you have the records in front of you. So it's not correct that you were assigned to Talib, that you were working with Talib from 30th of November. You were formally allocated to Talib on the 30th of November when Balji had withdrawn, but you had been involved with Talib in October, hadn't you?
I requested to support a welfare check, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't tell me the date of that welfare check?
No, because I'm not here.
Okay, all right. I know when the welfare check happened. Obviously, I've got a record of it. I just don't have it in front of me. But then subsequently, if there was a welfare check, why was those concerns not raised to the safeguarding board in Oldham? Why did you come from Bradford? Why did you and your colleague get in your car from Bradford, drive all the way to Oldham to do a welfare check, when, if it was a welfare issue, my brother was living in Oldham, we were homeless living in Oldham, we had a GP in Oldham, so why was Oldham Safeguarding Board not informed?
There might have been.
Okay, so you see here, Mr. Browell, it's not me that's being duplicitous here. When I tell you there's a safeguarding issue, you say, oh no, it's got nothing to do with us. We're in Bradford. That his GP practices is in Oldham. All right, go speak to a safeguarding board in Oldham. All right, because they have authority, because that GP practice is in Oldham. But when my brother was homeless living in Oldham, had a GP practice in Oldham, Bradford Council came all the way from Bradford to Oldham to do a welfare check. All right, when ideally what should have happened is that if you had any concerns, if any concerns were raised, why would you even do a welfare check? All right, if somebody's who put the welfare check in, the GPs in Oldham told you all right, raised a concern to you in Bradford. And you in Bradford then went over to Oldham to do a welfare check. All right? And obviously, why did the GPs in Oldham raise a safeguarding concern to you in Bradford when they should have gone to the safeguarding board in Oldham? So you see the fact that there is this collusion between Bradford and Oldham, all right, that's resulted in the past, and it's through that very same collusion that subsequently, when you've come on board on the 30th of November, on the 8th of December, a week later, we've been kicked out of Sun Valley, and he's ended up in Greenbank, all right, but his medical records have gone missing then. So you are involved. You personally are involved in the fact that his medical records have gone missing, because that's the time when his medical records went missing.
Yeah, medical records are nothing to do with me.
Of course, they have every.
Like I said,
You're saying.
With Greenbank and Sun Valley. So.
Okay, all right. You're saying medical records have got nothing to do with you. Then how have you emailed Greenbank and told them of a change of address to update his medical records in August this year?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting tired of this conversation now.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. No, Mr.
Just continue this discourse, and like all I'm allocated to do is try and make sure that Talib's okay.
And I'm
not here as an instrument to find facts for you, yeah? So I don't see the point in continuing this conversation.
Okay, just with regards, you're here to allocate it in my brother's interest. I'm working in my brother's interest. I'm here 24 hours a day. He's got to go. Is it totally dependent and reliant upon myself? I'm asking the simple questions, and when clearly you can't answer those questions because you're going to expose your organization's malevolence. You say I'm not willing to answer this. You're saying you've got nothing to do with my brother's medical records. All right, and I think that's not correct.
No, if it's not medical records that are kept at a GP surgery, that's nothing to do with me. No, so yeah. I can't answer any questions on that. You need to follow that up with Sun Valley or Greenbank.
And that's exactly what I'm in the process of doing. Right, yesterday, even today, I was speaking to them saying I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. But the bottom line is this: that my brother's medical records are private and confidential. The only person that should know about my brother's medical records is either my brother or myself, having been given authority and third-party access authority, and the GP practices themselves. However, in the past, and this is a complaint that I've raised with the Greenbank and previous practices, that the social workers in Bradford Council, social workers, have had access to his medical records. All right, and what I mean by access to his medical records is because you were telling me that he's missed an appointment. If my brother misses a GP appointment with his GP in Oldham, how are you become aware of it? In Bradford, considering you're on two different systems, you're on system one, he's on an email system. You're on two different authorities. He's on a safeguarding board in Oldham. You're a safeguarding board in Bradford. He missed an appointment, and you're telling me that we have concerns because he missed an appointment. So that appointment was a medical appointment. Subsequently, Mr. Browell, you've told me the fact that he's got diabetes or something, and I told you no, he hasn't. So somebody regarding his medical records has relayed that information to you in Bradford without authority to do so. And then finally, you have personally emailed Greenbank earlier on in the year saying that we've moved to Bradford now and they've updated his medical records. So when you say to me that I've got nothing to do with his medical records, I challenge you upon this.
That's not to do with medical records, that's to do with communication between a CMHT and a GP surgery, and we've spoke about this before. Communication does happen between GP surgeries and mental health.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. No. Yes, okay.
That's not medical records.
Okay, under what legal framework do the GP have a right to communicate to you regarding the contents of his medical records? Like, for example, he's missed an appointment. Like, for example, that he's got diabetes. Under what rights do you?
I can't comment on individual matters. We've been on the phone for an hour now, Shazad.
Yeah, but
we're going around in circles.
We're not going around in circles. No, Mr. Browell, you keep. You keep on saying we're going around in circles when I get to the crux of the point. The crux of the point
No,
here.
not really, because it's I'm just like I said, I've already answered these questions before.
No.
It's a fact-finding mission to try and cause trouble, Shazad.
I'm causing trouble. It's a fact-finding mission because I have a right to this information. You don't have a. You say that. What rights do you have?
Delegate the patient.
Yeah, and my mum was and you. What are you talking about? What? What are you talking about? Talib's the patient.
What I can do, I've given you an hour of my time.
Okay, and who's paying for your time?
I've given you an hour of my time.
Shall I say thank you?
I'm actually getting 2 phone calls. I've missed 2 phone calls now.
But we arranged this appointment though. All right, when do you want to speak next?
And we spoke for an hour. I don't want to say a time. I don't want to say a time at this point because.
Okay. So we're about to become homeless. You know the fact that the Bradford Council is about to make us homeless again, yeah? And there's a crime.
You need to speak to housing options regarding that.
But you're the one that who owns housing options? Is that not run by Bradford Council?
Right. Okay. But
yeah.
They're to do with housing and accommodation.
Yeah, but what role do you play then? What role have you played? I've been explaining to you, the trust and city mental health team, that my brother's going to be made homeless since his discharge into my care in January 2019.
I'm not able to speak to Talib or see him, and you're asking me to.
Yeah, and he says he doesn't want to see you because you. But he's
moved to a house that you were classed as trespassing on. So that's a housing matter. That's nothing to do with the mental health team.
Of course it is, because we were made homeless, weren't we? Were we not prior to being if we're trespassing, were we not made homeless?
So that's not something I can get involved in because that's a matter for whatever the courts and the house.
Yeah, who made us homeless? But isn't it you, Bradford Council, who made us homeless? So you made us homeless. All right, and now when we come back to our own house, you're saying we're trespassing. You, Bradford Council, are buying off the judges and the housing association, solicitors, and everybody else, saying that we're. How could we? Okay, all right. Okay, I've been very courteous. Look, Mr. Browell, I've been very, very courteous to you. I've not been disrespectful to you. You're the only channel I have to speak on behalf of my brother. You've got concerns regarding my brother. I've got concerns regarding the local authority and this involvement in my brother's care. My mother's been murdered. I'm trying to find an amicable solution forward. We've been on this call for 1 hour. We've had many other previous calls for 1 hour or more. What has been resolved? Nothing's been resolved, has it?
No, it hasn't.
Nothing has been resolved. The blue badge has not been resolved. My brother's finances has not been resolved. The mental capacity assessment has not been resolved. My brother's housing accommodation has not been resolved. My brother's money.
Maybe if I could meet with Talib, some of this could be resolved. I'm not.
Okay. So how many?
Long-winded conversations.
Okay, Mr. Browell. And who's like a broken record now? How many times have I told you my brother does not want to see you? Does he not have a right?
Which I add to the notes.
Yeah. And so why do you keep on asking? Why do you keep on saying that? Oh, well, we've got all your money, we've got all the power, we've got all the control, and unless you it's a demand, isn't it? Unless you let us see your brother. Why?
I'm missing phone calls.
All right, okay. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for giving me an hour of your precious time, which is at public expense. When can you speak next?
Give me a call in a couple of weeks.
Why should I give you a couple of what for? When we're going to be made homeless? I've told you.
I'm not, because it's going to be the same conversation.
Yes, because nothing's getting resolved. Look, Mr. Browell, nothing's getting resolved. You've stolen money from us. You've stolen money from us. Pardon?
It's of no benefit to Talib.
It's not. Because you've basically screwed Talib over, haven't you? You fucked him up, all right? You've just put him into this situation, and now you're saying there's no benefit to us. What you want to do is you want to capture Talib and exploit him further, so you can take money out of him. That's what do you mean it's not a benefit to Talib? I'm his representative. I care for him 24 hours a day, and now you're just basically saying, yeah, do one. We don't care. We've got all the money. We've got all the judges in our back pocket. We'll do whatever we like. We'll murder people. We'll kill people. We can do whatever we want. Go do one. So you're telling me to go effectively go do one. So when that's what you said to me last time, and then when I've gone and done one, you come to my door under false pretenses saying we're doing a welfare check. This is all bullshit. You know it's all bullshit. All right, my brother's got no access to no money. We're suffering and starving to death. All right, there's a living care crisis. Everything's going to pieces, and you're saying, yeah, we really don't care. You're getting paid, aren't you? Though, your money's secure, isn't it? You and all your other cronies are still getting paid public funds. You're all happy with this situation. I'm obviously not happy with this situation, hence why I'm calling you up and I'm telling you that I'm charging £1 million a week, and you say, yeah, go do what you like. We don't really care about what happens to you. We don't really care. We'll just buy off the judges. We'll buy off everybody. We'll come always on top because we're the city of culture. We'll always come out. We'll always get our hands clean while we get you to dirty your hands. We'll see about this. All right, we'll see about this. I'm giving you an opportunity to come and keep in contact with us. You're acting with disdain and contempt against us. You've given me an hour of your time. Is it your time? You're getting paid for it. Are you not a public servant?
I've got other cases. I've had missed phone calls. I'm saying you politely. I've asked you now for over 10 minutes to end the phone call, Shazad, and you're not.
Okay, so I in the past, you've asked me to end a conversation. We can't go any further. I said, okay, let's rearrange. This time you're saying no. I just don't want to. I just don't even want to. Don't want to do that anymore. Can you understand?
I'm kind of at the wit's end, really.
Pardon?
Just being you kind of dictating to me and kind of speaking the way that you do to me. So at this point, I don't kind of say the next time that we'll speak.
Okay. But you do understand. All right, okay. All right, Mr. Browell, let's just end the conversation now. But you do understand that every single call that we've had has been recorded.
I understand that.
Yeah. And you do understand that, so it's my prerogative to publicise it to the world that this is how we're being treated.
Yeah, so you say, yes.
Yeah, it's my prerogative, isn't it? I could do that. I can tell the whole world that, look, this is how Bradford Council and Bradford District Care Trust are treating vulnerable people, how they're treating me. All right, I can do that. I recorded every single conversation. So when you're going to make allegations against me, say, I'm being untowards you, you're triggering me. You're triggering me in this conversation. And we've had this conversation before. You're saying, I'm giving up my time. I've given you my time. Like it's some sort of luxury. Well, I'm here trying to explain to you the serious safeguarding issues regarding my brother's medical record, regarding everything else, trying to resolve the situation. This is my time as well, which I'm obviously charging you for. So when you say to me these things that making foundless allegations against me, like your manager Vicina Brown has been saying, making foundationless allegations against me, saying I've been abusive, threatening, intimidating all staff members. Am I threatening and intimidating you?
I'm not saying you're threatening and intimidating.
No, but so why has
I'm saying that these phone conversations have an effect on me, Shazad, yeah? And I'm not asking to play the sympathy card. They have an effect on me. They stress me out.
Okay, well, okay.
I'm not making any allegations.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying that I can have these conversations every week.
Okay, all right. Well, fair enough. Okay, all right. I appreciate that. I appreciate honesty. It's stressing you out. I understand that. But can you understand that if it's stressing you out, you're an paid employee, and if I was in your position, I would be stressed out as well. And the reason I would be stressed out is because you know that being a man of conscience, that you know that there's something malevolent going on to us, and I'm screaming out to you in despair. And you know there's nothing you can do about it. So basically, we are being exploited, we're suffering, and you know the fact that there's nothing you can... So of course you're going to be stressed out. But don't say you're stressed out because of my personal conduct and behavior. You're stressed out because you know the fact that the system, the people that you work for, the money that you make is as a result of blood money that has resulted in my mother's murder, that has resulted in my brother's suffering as a consequence. You're an intelligent person. You can see the fact that we are suffering because you've stolen all our money, you're persecuting and hounding us. So of course you're stressed out. But you're stressed out not because of any of my conduct and behavior. That's correct, isn't it? Because all I've done is articulate information to you. I've not been verbally abusive to you. I've not been threatening towards you. I've always been courteous and respectful to you. So you can't say that I am the source of your stress. My conduct is not the source of your stress. Is it not the fact that you're stressed out because there's nothing you can do to resolve our anguish and suffering?
As I've said before, I'm allocated with regards to duty care towards Talib. Regards to all the kind of court proceedings and things like that, before I was allocated, I'm not really aware of that situation. It's not part of the remit of my job. So it's difficult
Mr. Browell, Mr. Browell, I have asked, you've informed me right now in this conversation that you're very distressed having conversations with me, yes?
I didn't say very distressed. I said it causes me
Great stress, all right? And so I'm just trying to understand, I'm just trying to help me understand so we can end this conversation. How, is there anything I have done, or what could I do differently? What could I would put the argument to you that there's nothing I could do differently in order to not stress you out, is there?
As you say,
What? No.
it's difficult for me to get resolutions to things that you request, but that doesn't stop you requesting resolutions and continuing to ask for resolutions, which are things beyond my power and control.
Yes.
So yeah, in that fact, you might be experiencing difficulties and distress yourself and Talib. I'm not really able to resolve those difficulties. So hearing you talk about that and asking me to find solutions to these problems, yeah, it is difficult here because there's not a lot I can do about it.
Okay. So the bottom line is that there's nothing I can't like. For example, if I was swearing at you over the telephone and that was calling you distress, you can say to me, look, Mr. Hussain, I'm getting stressed out because you're swearing at me. Can you stop that? And I could stop that, couldn't I? All right. That's not happened in this case. I'm not being like, I'm not like putting you down or anything like this. Yes. There's nothing I am doing that's causing is the source of the stress. The reason that you're stressed out or greatly stressed out or stressed speaking to me is because the source of that stress is because the reality is there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I'm not the right person that you should be speaking with. Yeah.
Okay, so the question arises, why would, and I understand this, why would your senior managers put you in a situation where you're suffering from stress? Number one, and obviously, you know, I'm a very, very reasonable person. I've been very, very reasonable from day one to you. I said, I'm never going to treat you that you're the perpetrator of all this. You're just simply the instrument of the local authorities' aggression. So I know there's a distinction because you're simply doing your job, yes? So, but can you understand, other people cannot make that differentiation. And if it was somebody else less reasonable than myself, less level-headed than myself, they would physically be abusive to you and physically attack you. All right? Because they would not they would not be able to understand the nuanced difference between yourself going to do a job, all right, under instructions from your managers and the whole authority themselves. So if I've called, the thing is, what concerns me is that why would your employers put you in a situation that effectively endangers your life, all right? And if it hasn't endangered the life of somebody else, it's in my circumstances, it's causing you unaccountable amount of stress. You should not be stressed out in work, should you?
No.
All right. And I'm not the source of that. I'm not the source of that stress. I seem to be the subject of that stress as well. Because your senior managers are covering up something. They're covering up. Look, this is the concern I have. And I've had this conversation with many other people. I've had it with my local MP, with the GP practices. They're all saying, look, we're helpless. We can't do anything. They're stressed out. And it's a very easy thing to say that you're stressing me out. Like I'm stressing you out. That I'm the cause of all this. When the reality is that me and my brother are suffering from a social care crisis. We are the victims of a bigger picture here. We are, so that we were normally suffering from the social care crisis in the UK. Particularly, we're suffering from the fact that there's malevolent by the local authority who are trying to cover up their own failures, all right, and targeting and victimizing us. We're just telling you on the telephone, look, this is what's happening to us, all right, and God willing, the whole world is going to realize this is what's happening to us, because that's all I can do. What do you want me to do in my situation? I have to ring you up on behalf of my brother because my brother is suffering, okay? Now, as a result of this, my brother has, he's in a worse off situation. I don't know what you want me to do. If you're stressed, how do you think I feel? I don't want to stress you out. But what can I do about this? Your senior managers, Nadia Khan, Vicina Brown, Mark Trewin, are refusing to recognize that my brother has mental capacity to make his own choices in life. What you're doing is you're financial plundering and profiteering from us. So, with respect to yourself, Mr. Browell, I don't think we should have any further conversations if you feel uncomfortable. Because you've made me aware today, for the first time, that these conversations are causing you unnecessary distress. or stressing you out. All right. And I understand that the reason that they're stressing you out is because of nothing to do with myself, because of the circumstances that have been created by the council, which is effectively putting a vulnerable person's life in danger. I would be stressed out too, because obviously I don't want to know the fact that the money that I make, that my employees...
I can go with the 20-minute phone call, but now we're nearly at 1 hour 20 minutes again, and going over the same issues for over an hour.
So what are we going to...
It's quite difficult.
Okay, what are we going to resolve in 20 minutes that we can't resolve, that we've failed to resolve in an hour and a half?
We're not finding any resolution anywhere, even in an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, and why are we not finding any resolution? Because the resolution that you want is you want to come and see Talib, all right? And you want us to take the £250 a month. All right, that's a resolution that you want. You want us to take the money, all right, that you've stolen from us, and you want to see in Talib, so you want it all your way. That's the resolution that you want. And obviously, I'm saying that doesn't resolve the problems that we're having here. All right, that just helps you do your particular job. All right, that does not resolve the wider issue here. If we've not managed to resolve things in an hour and a half, because ultimately what you're telling me is that, Mr. Arnold, this is what I'm understanding, so we can look to end the conversation. You're not in a position to resolve anything, are you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's it. So what resolution you want is for your job remit. What you're mandated to do is come and see Talib and to liaise with Talib, and you're not able to get that resolution. That's your personal job resolution, all right, which is neither here nor there, because I've explained to you, my brother Talib has capacity. He doesn't want to see you anymore. He's been discharged from the city mental health team. You should not have any further involvement in his case, all right. So that's the resolution that you're seeking. The problems that we're having, for example, he's missing medical records, all right. The problem that we're having, he's got no access to his GP practice effectively now, no access to any NHS services. He's got no access to any medication. He's got no access to his finances. He's got no access to any of his freedom of choice or liberty of movement. The fact that he's going to be made homeless, none of these things or that you can resolve, can you? No. Okay. And the fact that you can write a letter to Manningham Housing saying that he's my somebody I have a duty of care to. I feel the fact that him staying in his present location is something I would support. You know, your managers are not allowing you to make that letter of recommendation, are they?
It's not something that I've brought to my managers. It's something that
but we've had this discussion in the past, haven't we? We've had this discussion in the past, okay? My brother has been living here all his life. It's his home, okay? How can he be trespassing? You know, the council got an order vacation. Yeah, sure.
We've now gone another 20 minutes
okay.
after I've asked
Okay, Mr. Browell. Okay, so we won't be speaking next then?
If you want to call a week on Tuesday in 2 weeks' time.
Well, what's that going to achieve?
Well, then that's fine.
Because the reason for look, Mr. Browell, the reason for my call today was obviously there were several points. One was regarding the blue badge. The other was regarding the safeguarding alert that I had put in place and regarding his medical records. None of that has been resolved with. The purpose of this call today was the fact that we're facing eviction from our property, which the local authority have instigated. I wanted to know what position that the local authority hold, considering there's been injunctions against my brother, all right, and me and my brother. None of those issues have been resolved. So there's a purpose for this call. I cannot envision a purpose for this call. The next time, hopefully, we're going to probably speak is when you, the local authority, have got what you wanted. You've got my brother in your care and custody, and you're denying me access to visit him because of some sort of false flag safeguarding alert. So that's probably when we will speak next, because there's no reason for me to ring you up, because you can't resolve anything. You've just told me you can't resolve anything. So why should I ring you up in a couple of weeks' time?
Okay, no, that's fine.
And this is exactly where we were in August when I said, look, I don't need to speak to you anymore, do I? And you said, yeah, all right, that's fine. Then you ended up on my door on the 14th of October. So obviously, like I said, we're ending the situation in exactly the same situation we left in August, all right, when no doubt when we speak next year, it's going to be under very malicious and malevolent circumstances where something untoward has happened to me or my brother. So, okay, Mr. Browell, like I said, personally, Mr. Browell, from day one, I've always been on the level with you, and I've always said I'm going to treat you with a level of respect. You've made me aware today that I've stressed you out. I don't mean to stress you out, Mr. Browell. Are we okay? All right. I didn't. Nothing I've done or said. Yeah. Nothing I've said or done should have. It was not my intention to stress you out. I understand that you're just trying to do a job. You're just a cog in the machine, and I've tried myself to be restrained to you, towards you personally, as much as I can, considering the circumstances we're facing.
Yeah, I understand that, Shazad. Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay,
no worries. So you appreciate that we don't have no issue. We don't have any personal issues, do we?
No, absolutely, yeah. No.
Yeah, I've not been in any untoward way towards you throughout our conversations in the past, have I?
No.
I've always behaved with the reason I'm asking this is because hopefully we won't never speak again, and I just want to know is there anything I can do or say, anything you can tell me to improve the way I've dealt with you or handle our conversations?
No, you're very eloquent, you're very well spoken, Shazad, and you've got a very clear understanding of yours and Talib's difficulties and things, and like I said, there's a limit to how much I can help with that, and we find ourselves at a bit of a...
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's often happens in business or in life. You understand? But the question I would ask you is that, would you be fair to say that I've been polite, respectful and courteous to you personally?
To me personally, you've been, I think your way of talking is very... You've got a particular way of talking, haven't you? So
yeah. I mean, I accept that. Look, I'm a type.
You are well spoken. You haven't said anything that's.
Yeah, but you know, Mr. Browell, I'm an alpha male. All right. I'm very forthright in the way I speak. But that's a trait that I can't change. I speak like this. If I speak like this, the way I've spoken to you throughout is the way I speak to my own mum and dad. All right. That's not something I can help, is it? All right, I'm a forthright individual. I'm clear, concise, and articulated. All right, and I make my point very forthrightly. All right, I'm very clear and concise. But the point I wanted to say is that now that we're ending our conversation, I hope that I've been polite to you personally. I've been respectful to you and courteous to you. And if I haven't, then please tell me. I haven't, so I can look to review the calls and see how I can improve.
No, I'm not saying that you have been impolite and things like that. No, I'm not. You haven't been impolite to me. Because like I said, we're at loggerheads really of what I can. Yeah,
or what you can do. The reason I say that is because allegations have been made against me in the past by your team, by senior members of your staff, that I am, obstructive, confrontational, abusive, and threatening towards staff members. You've read that, haven't you?
No, I think I've seen that before. That's not something I would say, but I'd just say that the fact of the matter is that a long phone call for over an hour now, it's nearly an hour and a half. It's a lot to kind of take on board.
Yes, especially when there's nothing you can do about it. Especially when we've got agreed that you're the wrong person. They're just fronting you because it's an easier option. Now, can you understand that you don't even speak the language of my brother? All right, my brother doesn't speak English. You don't even speak the same language. Baljit Nora was an appropriate person, and I think just basically they just wanted somebody else. So you're not even the most appropriate person to be my brother's care coordinator or his social worker because you don't have the right language skills. You accept this that this is a problematic relationship. Yours and I's was always going to be a loggerheads problematic relationship because your employers are setting me up because any other person. All right, would have acted very unreasonably towards you. I've been set up here, so you don't even speak the language. Look, Mr. Browell, I don't want to take you any further. I just want to wish you all the best. I hope I never get to speak to or see you again. Without being coming across as a negative or without being like what's the word? I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner. I just hope because you're an employee. All right, of an organization that's tyrannical and persecuting. You're basically the jailer of the oppressors. All right, and hopefully, if we never speak together again, and I never see you again, or any part, me and my brother will have a better life. So I wish you all the best, and we can look to end the call now.
Okay, all the best, Shazad. Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Cheers now.
So you see, that's an hour and a half conversation. He couldn't really do anything. So we're just wasting my time. He's just basically a stooge, an instrument for the local authority to institute their oppression and villainy against me and my family members. They've murdered our family members. They've murdered everybody. They're looking to target and victimize us now. And obviously, I've got no choice. He's been fully made aware from day one that I'm recording the conversation. And obviously, I've got no choice now but to make them public. So hopefully somebody out there in the wider world can see our suffering while we're not going to suffer in silence. And this is the situation, you see. The local authority and the health authority, they orchestrate and create situations where members of the public, vulnerable people suffer, and they suffer in silence. And the reason that they suffer in silence is because maybe they feel embarrassed, maybe it's nothing that they want to make public. All right, so they want us to quietly suffer in silence, having the upper lip. All right, and I'm not that type of guy. I don't suffer in silence. I'm going to tell the whole world that this is what they've done to us. They've murdered my brother Nazem. First of all, they threw him off a 3-story building in 2002 when I tried to expose, in 2003 when I tried to expose this fraud and deception in adult social care. They threw him off a 3-story building, made him paralyzed for the next 10 years of his life, catheterized and tube fed. Eventually, in 2014, when I looked to expose them again, all right, regarding the failure on their direct payments, all right, which they had been paying indirectly to me as under the table, so I would be quiet about it. I saved that money. I didn't touch that money, and then they prosecuted me for that money for not spending it. How ridiculous. And then subsequently they murdered my brother Nazem in 2014, tried to frame me for his death, failed to do so, bought off the judges, bought off numerous judges, bought off Judge Saville, sent me to prison. All right, came out of prison, still continue to care for the people that I was the victim of my criminality, and then those people have given me the power of attorney, and they just continue to hound and persecute us over and over again. Presently we're presently facing an eviction from our property, saying we're trespassers in our own home, looking to make us homeless while they look to buy everybody off. So yeah, I mean, it's a complete chapter now, because I don't want to be speaking to this guy. Hopefully I never get to see him again, and we can retain our freedom, because alternatively what's going to happen is that my brother Talib's going to be murdered off. I'm probably going to be murdered off, and nobody gets to hear our voice, nobody gets to listen to our story. So this is one of the reasons that it's important for me to record all this stuff down, to ensure that, look, this is what's happening to us. These people, Bradford Council, Bradford District Care Trust, in collaboration with all the GP practices, the solicitors, the barristers, the courts, the judges, they all collude and conspire to exploit vulnerable people. And not just them. I mean, that's just easy because they're all paid employees, all right, getting paid a job. They're including my family members, they're including my siblings, my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews. They've got all them involved in order to victimize and persecute the most vulnerable people in society. My brother Talib, my mother who's been murdered by the authorities. Me and my brother Talib, my vulnerable sister in Oldham, didn't get to see our own mother for the last years of her life whilst she was molested and tortured to death by Bradford Council. And now all of a sudden they've covered everything up, and they're telling the whole world that, look, our hands are whiter than white, we are cleaner than clean. And yet the reality is that they're the ones that are doing this. They're the ones that are creating a toxic environment that all the people are suffering from. They want to go out and tell the world that they're a city of culture, when the reality is that it's been shown that Bradford is one of the most highest crime rates in the whole of Europe. That's a recent statistic that's come out. And so yeah, we're suffering, and they've just wasted my time. They have a channel, they utilize Mr. Browell in order to do the council's bidding, and yet anything I'm saying, he's like, being antagonistic towards me or not be able to do anything. And he's not in a position to do anything, and they don't need to do anything, because they've basically stolen everything, plundered from us, and now looking to end our life under you. It was just absolutely sickening and disheartening. He feels tired. He feels tired and stressed out, and yet I'm the one that's doing all the talking. I've been now talking out for about an hour and a half straight. He was just there listening, all right, and he feels stressed out. And I clarified that the reason that you feel stressed out is because there's nothing you can do about the situation. You're incorrectly positioned in the situation, right? You're not looking to resolve anything. You're not in a position to resolve anything. You're not tasked to resolve anything. You're tasked to facilitate our further suffering and persecution and indignation, and you're here waiting for me to be triggered so that I can hurt you or my brother or somebody else, so you can come across as a good guys and paint me out as a villainous Pakistani Muslim, all the other stereotypes that you're going to use, when the reality is that you, the Bradford Council, have done this to us. You have tortured and murdered my family members. You've tortured and murdered my father. You tortured and murdered my older brother. You've now tortured and murdered my mother. You're presently torturing and looking to murder me and my brother Talib, and there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it because the local authority buys off the whole of the judiciary, not just judges in Bradford, but court protection judges, senior justices in the High Court. All of them are on the fiddle, on the take, looking to help the local authority cover up the fact that for over 5 years, they were paying me indirectly over £100,000 of public money that they were required to audit, and they didn't audit because they all messed up. All right, and when I tried to expose them, this is what they did to me. It is their failures. They are grossly incompetent, grossly negligent, and are put in a position of power and authority, and they're acting with malevolence. They have no intentions of acting in accordance with the laws. The laws are there to be bent and twisted to their best advantage. It's just a big con. And I am the one that's been speaking for an hour and a half. I'm the one that's distressed. I'm the one that's having to look after my brother 24 hours a day. And I have been doing so from day one for the last 20 years, since June 2000. Now it's November 2002. For the last 22 years of my life, they have robbed me and vilified me and persecuted and hounded me, and nobody's doing anything. I've gone to everybody. I've gone to the solicitors, the barristers, the public authorities, the other authorities. I've gone to the MPs, numerous MPs. I've gone to everybody. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to do anything. They are simply they're persecuting and hounding us, and what they're doing is they're buying off senior judiciaries in order to cover up their failures. It is their failures. They're not a city of culture. They're a city of murdering vultures, and they've murdered my family members, and they're looking to murder us now. And so that's why I think this is a fitting end to this whole sorry saga of dealing with Mr. Browell as another nightmarish chapter in my life. So let's just end this chapter. Hopefully I never get to speak to him again, and I can look to find alternative resolutions, because the council are refusing to engage with us, and they want us to become homeless, and they want us to suffer, because I look to expose their failures in adult social care, which they are receiving money from the public funds, and they're going to private parties like Boris Johnson, having parties with the money, squandering the money inefficiently, not looking after the vulnerable people in society, and victimizing and persecuting anybody like myself, an educated, articulate person who's acting as a good citizen, trying to highlight these failures. I'm the one that's persecuted and victimized. This is totally unacceptable, totally barbaric, and I'm totally distressed, alarmed, and I've got no one to turn to. And no doubt, if this continues, me and my brother are going to end up dead, and nobody's going to hear about us. But inshallah, Allah willing, the whole world will get to hear our anguish and pain and suffering that we continue to suffer.